It's fun.
They were in here?
Well, no, I guess when he was born, I think his parents lived here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the Wetlands lived in here whenever when he was born.
Very nice.
So yeah.
Well, very nice location.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I was a lot of it was. I mean, we actually, my wife and I, we live right on Main Street, just 5 blocks down. So over the last couple of years, when I was thinking about doing this, I really wanted to kind of be within walking distance because we have 4 kids. So we've got 2 that are at the preschool. We've got 2 that are here in. They're both now here in Annville Elementary, and so it was nice to both be here and to be here.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we were both commuting from Harrisburg, and just with the 4 kids, that just gets to be a lot. So.
Yeah, especially if there's bad weather or a traffic delay. It's like what normally is 45 minutes turns into like a nightmare.
Even with no traffic, it took 40 minutes to get. Especially lately with 934 being under construction, or somewhere on 422 being under construction, it's just turned into a sort of a nightmare to get to and from.
So what are you going to do here?
What am I going to do here? Well, yeah, I have a general civil practice, and so everything from estate planning to business counseling to oil and gas work. My background is primarily representing businesses in commercial and in litigation and dispute resolution. But I have a lot of background. I've done a lot of oil and gas work representing primarily landowners. And with that comes all the other stuff. You learn a lot about estate planning, you learn a lot about contract negotiation and things like that, because a lot of what I've done the last few years was Marcellus Shale related work. And so all of a sudden you've got like this mom and pop, or you've got a hunting club, or you've got somebody that all of a sudden realized, hey, I have potentially $1 million asset under me. What are we going to do? You know, we're organized as a nonprofit, or you know, what are the tax implications of this, or you know, how am I going to leave this to my children, or how do I share this with my family? You know, and so we learned, you know, all of that sort of got wrapped in, and so really my goal is sort of businesses and individuals, sort of a full service offering of services here. I do a little bit of criminal work, but that's really not where my experience lies. You know. So I do a little bit of it here and there, but mostly it's businesses and individuals. So.
How long have you been doing this kind of work?
I have been in practice now going on 8 years. So I spent first few years with a Harrisburg-based firm. Then I met my wife, Candace, and we agreed that probably working together every day in the stressful legal world probably didn't make a lot of sense. And so after we got engaged, I changed firms and moved to Pepper Hamilton, which was a Philly-based firm, but I was in the Harrisburg office. And I enjoyed the 7 years there that I had at Pepper Hamilton, but I was lacking the central Pennsylvania focus. And so a couple years ago, I was heavily involved with the income tax litigation in Lebanon County, and I really got to work closely with and meet a lot of the people in Lebanon County, and you know, the people that you run into at your kids' soccer games and at the grocery store and stuff. And I said, you know what, I'm really missing this. I don't really have the professional fulfillment that I'm looking for with doing the big corporate stuff in Philadelphia. And so I said, you know, Candace and I have been talking about it for a couple of years, and finally we said it's time to make the jump. And fortunately, you know, I have a wife that supports me and family that supports me, so that makes this a lot easier. But it's scary and exciting all at the same time. So.
And you have someone who many people know as a father-in-law.
I do. My father-in-law here, Pat Kerwin.
That's so unfortunate for him.
Yeah, that cut both ways.
He's handicapped.
Well, we wish you all the best.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate everyone's support.